Hey y'all, what's up? Jamie, that's me here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another conversation about things that's happening around the world. We have been covering the Travis Rudolph case. I do believe that closing arguments took place on today, and hopefully we'll find out at some point this week what the verdict is, okay, and what's going to happen with his particular situation. But in the midst of me covering the Travis Rudolph story, a lot of you guys reached out to me and wanted me to talk about the AJ Owens story. And I hate that I do not have the proper pronunciation when it comes to her name, so I will go by her nickname, which is AJ Owens, as we kind of get into some of the news articles that are out there, or primarily one. I am pulling my details from CNN, so I will be reading that. And then I have two different news stories that we are going to news clips that we're going to listen to, and I'm not going to show those on the screen because sometimes YouTube will definitely like flag your channel or strike the video or something like that if certain footage is used. So that's why you won't see the footage, but you are going to hear what is being said. Okay, so I think I might want to start with one of those. So let me pull up one of those videos that I have, and then I believe there is another that is a bit longer. That's going to, the next one I'll play at a later time is going to be the one that includes the sheriff kind of talking a little bit towards the end, because it's really funny when I hear this Travis Rudolph situation where he actually ran outside, got into an altercation that was not a fault of his own. It resulted in a lot of shots being fired, one young man being killed and another person being injured. And the judge in Palm Beach County, Florida, wherever it is, West Palm Beach, whichever one, that particular judge pretty much denied him being able to use stand your ground. Whereas when you have this particular situation over in Marion County, this particular sheriff is saying that, they're trying to identify everything that happened. And the reason the perpetrator has yet to be arrested was due to stand your ground, right? That was kind of what he was saying. But what we're gonna do, because I know a lot of people are like, well, what's this, what's going on, what happened? Well, AJ Owens, for a lot of people that may not know, was a single mom of 4 children, and she was having a dispute with her neighbor back and forth, and it resulted in her being unalived at some point when she wanted to approach the neighbor to have a conversation about an item that she took from the children and was not willing to give back to the children. And also, she was pretty abusive to the children as far as, throwing items at them and also throwing racial slurs around. And other people in the neighborhood have been witnesses to this character of said person that decided to unalive AJ Owens. But I am going to play a bit so that we can just check out what they had to say regarding this case. So you guys just listen to this with me.
Developing story. Deputies say that this feud has been going on for several months between the two sides. Good evening. Welcome. I'm John Brown.
And I'm Lou Ann Sorrell. The sheriff says both the mother and the shooter called 911 on each other at least half a dozen times in the past. Let's walk you through what we know so far. Deputies say before the shooting, the neighbor threw something at one of the children. That child then told their mother, and she went back to the neighbor's house. During the confrontation, the neighbor allegedly shot the mother through the front door. Investigators are now trying to figure out if the shooter will face any charges or if this is a case of self-defense. We have live team coverage for you tonight.
Fox 35's Ray Vieta is looking into a similar stand your ground cases. And we start with Fox 35's Dave Puglisi, who is live in Marion County. So, Dave, the victim's family wants the shooter charged in this case.
John, they do, and many people here in the community were calling for justice. They say that they are outraged over all this and believe the shooting was completely unnecessary. Her 3 children were here today as they echoed those calls.
She had no weapon. She posed no imminent threat to anyone.
AJ Owens' mother pleading for answers after her daughter was shot by her neighbor. Many in the Marion County community echoing those calls.
She needs to be arrested today. She needs to be prosecuted.
Owens was killed Friday when she went to confront a neighbor. Close friends say the 32-year-old wanted to know why her neighbor took her kid's iPad and threw something at them.
Her children ran to my house, banging on the door, asking for us to call the police that their mother was shot. They ran on literally they knocked on everyone's door.
Owens' neighbor Ashley Remy says that she ran over to perform CPR.
Just hoping that I could revive her, hoping that there was something I could do.
Others in the neighborhood say the 58-year-old shooter has a history of yelling at kids in the neighborhood. They claim she has called the police on kids many times. Marion County deputies have not arrested the 58-year-old as they try to determine if this was a stand your ground case.
It's a bull. Straight bull. Because like I just said, if it was me or an African American shooting her, we would be in jail right now.
You ain't never lied.
Owens' children are between the ages of 13 and 4 years old. Her oldest son did speak briefly, thanking everybody for coming. There'll be a vigil held for her on Thursday.
That is just absolutely crazy to me, because it sounds like the woman has been a problem in the neighborhood. So you officers are likely familiar with her tactics, her behavior. I'm sure as much as she's called the cops on children, they've likely called the cops on her as well. And the sad thing is, I feel like if this woman was to be arrested for anything, they're going to try and play into her mental and say that she has a mental situation going on, being the fact that she was 58 years old. So I'm just kind of wondering about that. Like, they're going to try and play on her mental to try, they love trying to do that, to kind of slick turn her into a victim of what's going on in her head. But let's get into this article real quick to read more details about it. According to CNN, they're saying it's been 4 days since A.J. Owens was fatally shot after a knocking on a neighbor's door. And they go into detail about what they know. And this is what I was wondering. I would like to know where they're getting the information that a confrontation was had, because y'all are using y'all words in these news reports. Very interesting. Did she, and it's just so interesting when I think about the whole, conversation, the whole trial with Travis, because those guys swear they went over there to talk, right? But the difference is they went over there with items. But with this woman, she walked over there unarmed. She went over there to have a conversation. So my question is, where did y'all get the term confront? So did you guys have any other witnesses outside of her children to see her go over there, raise her voice, yell, whatever? Now, granted, they have bickered back and forth in the past, so maybe that's enough for them to know that she definitely went over there to confront this woman. And it's so interesting that this woman, from what I'm hearing, was in her home. And when I say woman, I'm talking about the white one, because I do believe she's white. All right. A 58-year-old white woman. I do believe this white woman who shall not be named because they have yet to name her. And that's the problem for me. Okay. For her to shoot this woman and be in her own home, would y'all have done the same thing to Travis? If Travis would have just shot them boys through the door, would his stand your ground would have been more, it would have made more sense for y'all versus him coming outside, getting into an altercation, and then once they pulled out guns on him, he popped them first, or whatever the case was? Would that have been better for that judge? That's just what I'm wondering. Now y'all trying to sit over here and, apply a stand your ground, when I don't think that woman posed a threat. Because, and I say that it's making me think about the young man that knocked on the wrong door of the neighbor's house, and the neighbor just shot him through the door. That's exactly what I'm thinking about. The young man, I cannot think of his name, but I feel like his name may have been Earl or Ural, or maybe that was his last name. But this young baby who went to go pick up his twin siblings or something, knocked on the wrong door, went to the wrong address, the white man shot him or whatever. He tried to play victim, only for, the ex-wife to come out and say, don't let that crippleness about this old man fool you, because that's just who he is and that's who he's always been. Let's be very clear about that. He did that intentionally because he used to do certain things to me. Like, let's be clear, okay? So that's what it makes me think of. So how was she posing a threat if she, one, knocked on your door and did not enter your home in any capacity, and you were behind the door? So I'm just wondering, how much of a threat did she pose on the outside? And that's what I'm just not understanding that part. And how exactly is stand your ground supposed to work and supposed to be applied to this case? Because one of the sheriffs was kind of trying to say that that's one of the reasons why she's yet to be arrested, because they're still doing their investigation regarding the situation. But y'all know she's a problem child. Y'all already know what's going on. But let's go ahead and continue to get into this article. All right. They said it's been 4 days since 35-year-old A.J. Owens was shot and killed in Central Florida after knocking on a neighbor's door. Now, Owens' family want the person who killed her arrested and charged. They say the shooter, identified by police reports only, they're identifying her as a 58-year-old white woman. Okay. They said harassed the black mother and her children and had called them racial slurs prior to the killing. And it sounds like this lady, like she don't just do it to her children, she do it to a lot of people in that neighborhood. Okay, you sitting over here being a big bully, threatening children, but when somebody close to your age, somebody that's on your level, an adult that can get with you, when they come over there getting ready to get with you, you too afraid and you want to play victim, all of that stuff. You want to, unalive this woman or whatever the case. You know what I'm saying? Like you want to clap her. Okay, giving straight punk activity, but you didn't mind sitting over here punking these kids and bullying these kids and doing whatever the hell it is you want to do, terrorizing the neighborhood. And when somebody comes see about you to have a conversation or whatever, you want to sit up there and get the popping. Absolutely not. So then they're saying that Marion County Sheriff Billy Woods told reporters Monday his office is rigorously investigating the case, but referenced the state's stand your ground law as a reason why authorities have not arrested the shooter. They're saying authorities are working to determine whether the deadly force was justified or was it not. So I guess y'all are still doing y'all investigation. I'm hoping that it's more people in the neighborhood that saw what was going on, because obviously they're not just going to take the words of those black children that's going to sit up there and tell them how everything went down and how their mom may have likely not posed a threat to this lady. She went over there to retrieve something. So first of all, since y'all want to talk about whatever crime, first of all, let's get into the iPad that she took, because I'm sure once you access it, you're going to see that it ain't her photos on there. You're going to see that it's children's photos. You're going to look through that and see that, number one, she confiscated property, or shall I say stole property that was not hers. So if you're not going to immediately get her ass on a charge of murder or whatever while you're investigating, you need to get that bitch on a charge for theft is what you need to get her ass on while you're figuring everything else out, because ain't that's what y'all do when you guys are investigating one thing and you have a way to kind of charge this person and detain them or arrest them or whatever the case is while you figure that out. That's something that y'all typically do. So go ahead. When you run through that house, go ahead and find the items that belong to those kids, to that black family. Go ahead and arrest her for theft. Hello, go ahead and lock her up while y'all do y'all further investigation about whether or not deadly force was justified or not. If you ask me, deadly force was not justified. What if she went over there and she didn't have a prop item, nothing in her hand but herself? Lady, you could have not answered the door at all. You could have left the door closed. You could have did nothing. You could have retreated. Hello? Inside your own home, you could have just closed the door. You didn't have to go out there and shoot that lady or address that. You could have called 911. So she definitely, in my personal opinion, she needs to be declined. Okay, just as they did Travis Rudolph, she needs to be declined the offer to use stand your ground, and it needs to be sent to the court of law and have a trial so that we can find out whether or not, girl, you murdered or you didn't. Let us be the judge. Send it out to the jurors and let her peers judge her accordingly. Now they go on to give us details about how the shooting unfolded. All right. The sheriff gave a brief description of how the Friday shooting unfolded during his Monday news conference, but stressed that authorities had largely heard only the shooter's side of the story and were still working to interview children who were key witnesses to the shooting. The shooter has been cooperating with authorities, Woods said. Okay. Deputies responded to a trespassing call after 9 p.m. Friday night and found Owens laying in the grass, suffering from a gunshot wound. According to an incident report from the sheriff's office, she was later pronounced dead at a hospital. Girl, that is sad. And these babies sat up there and actually witnessed their mama die. How traumatizing is that? Let me tell y'all something. This lady gonna get arrested. I don't care what nobody. I really believe it. Because the way the community is now starting to, like, this story is going viral and more people are talking about it, and they have, I think Ben Crump, or I think it might be him. I know they have a very popular person. Let me double check. Activist or attorney that is a part of this case. Now that it's gaining some legs, I believe that they're going to arrest her because people are applying pressure for them to do so. Yes, it is Ben Crump. that's assisting the family at this time. Okay, so y'all might as well go ahead and get her ready, baby, and make sure you go ahead and put them theft, robbery, burglary, whatever charge you think is going to stick for her taking them people's iPad, because I guarantee you them babies still ain't got their iPad, and you sitting over there throwing skates. Okay, so all at the baby, so whatever, what do they call it, a child endangerment, I'm gonna need y'all to add them charges on her is too. Okay, we're gonna need you to go and add that. Now let's see what else they're saying. They're saying the shooter had earlier engaged with Owens with her children and threw a pair of skates, hitting them. One witness told police there had been a dispute over a child's electronic tablet device before the shooter threw the skates. A child then went back inside their home and told their mother, Owens, about the incident, who went to the neighbor's home to, quote unquote, confront her. Okay, they're saying that the shooter told police there had been a lot of aggressiveness from both sides before she shot Owens through the door. Okay, they're saying witnesses told authorities Owens went to the shooter's home and knocked on the door before she shot. First of all, I love how they keep referencing her in this article as shooter and not trying to reference her as a regular person, like, you know, the woman, the neighbor. You know, some people would say the neighbor or whatever. So I can appreciate them labeling her for what she was. She was the shooter. Instead of trying to remove that a bit. Okay, they're saying the neighbor's door never opened the door. And when Owens tried to confront her, according to Pamela Diaz, the victim's mother, the woman ended up shooting. Okay, she never opened the door. That's going to be real interesting, because I'm trying to understand what threat a person poses if the door is closed. If the door is closed. So I'm just trying to understand what threat was she. Y'all help me out, because I mean, some of y'all may think differently about this situation, but I do believe Miss Ma'am is going to get arrested, and I cannot wait to see that mugshot of that 58-year-old BITCH. Okay. Let's see. They also said Florida's stand your ground law allows people to meet force with force. Okay, so it allows people to meet force with force. So if it allows people to meet force with force, what force was A.J. Owens posing towards this woman if she was behind the door and the door never opened? I'm just trying to understand what force was given. But then when somebody come to Mr. Travis Rudolph's house, beating on his door, knocking on his door or whatever, literally fighting him, forcing him to fight back, pulling items out on him so he can go and grab his rifle or his AR-15 as well, okay? Had ample of times to clap all of them and chose not to, went down there to protect his brother. They pull out an item on him and he fired back. Baby, when you pull an item out, girl, that's giving force. If you pull out something towards me like you finna pop me, girl, I'm gonna pop you first. What? That's giving force. But then the judge felt as though it was not good enough to stand your ground. So let's go ahead and take it to trial, only for us to get to trial. And he had like he ain't paying attention to a damn thing. But anyway, girl, let me keep going. I feel like, let me say this. I don't know if I said it in any other video. And I know this is about A.J. Owens, but I just want to say this real quick. I do not believe that judge, if that was the judge, which I do believe was the judge that told Travis that, hey, you know, we're not going to, I'm going to deny your right to stand your ground. We're going to take this to trial because of X, Y, and Z. I feel like when you make that decision, in my personal opinion, you're a bit of an already biased judge. And because of that, I don't feel like when judges make those decisions on their own to send something to trial, I don't think those should be the same judges that preside over the case or the actual trial. That's just my personal, okay? Because I feel like you're already meeting it with a bit of biasness. Granted, they could hear all of the testimony for themselves and likely shift their perspective, shift their minds, and be like, oh, okay, I see how this played out. He actually wasn't in the wrong, whatever. We're still gonna let the jury convict him or not, or whatever, based on what they say. I'll do the sentencing accordingly. You know what I'm saying? But I don't feel like he should have presided over that. But let's go ahead and keep going, all right? So they're saying Florida's stand your ground law allows people to meet force with force if they believe they or someone else is in danger of being seriously harmed by an assailant. I done got hot. I done got hot. I'm sorry, y'all. I done got hot because, again, I'm thinking about the Travis Rudolph situation, and that man clapped one of them boys and popped the other one because they were posing a threat to his brother. If that is not standing your mother ground, I do not know what is. The only issue I would see is how many shots he fired, you know. But when it comes to this particular situation, I don't think this woman posed a threat to, like, the lady wasn't in danger. If they believe they or someone else is in danger of being seriously harmed, when this lady had nothing in her hands. And then this is going to be the other thing. I already could see the state trying to make this lady seem like, you know, she was a problem, this Miss AJ woman. God rest her soul. I can see them trying to make her seem like a problem and her complaining and they this and that. But what y'all gonna have to do is explain to us how many times AJ went over there to have a conversation with this woman where she had an item in her hand to harm this woman. Now, granted, we all have items, which is our fist. But did she take anything over there with her all of those times that she may have had a confrontation or a conversation with this 58-year-old white racist? Okay? Did she? So y'all can try and paint her character and say whatever it is y'all want to say, but y'all gonna have to tell us how many times she went over there and did that. So with all of those times, do you really think that this particular moment, especially when she was in the wrong, let's be very clear about that. She stole something from some children. Especially when she was in the wrong, was she in the right to take this woman's life? Nah. And I loved how in this news clip that I played for you guys, the woman said if that was one of us black people, we would have been arrested. B-I-T-C-H, you better know it, because they arrested Travis that night. Hello? That night. That night. Okay, so you mean to tell me y'all can arrest us, like y'all didn't do y'all investigation at the scene? Y'all wasn't out there doing further investigation? Y'all could have at least detained her or in some capacity until the investigation was done, but I guess that would be illegal, huh? Yeah, nah. And it pisses me off because when y'all do stuff like that, y'all give the perpetrators an opportunity to hide items, to get rid of stuff, to fix their story, to get things in order, and I don't like that. So y'all buying this BITCH time to get her shit together. And I don't like it because I feel like a lot of y'all are not going to, I don't want nobody to see, because, you know, it's going to be a lot of white men on the force. And I don't want nobody to look at this woman and consider her to be a mom, you know, like, well, what if that was my mom? Or what if that was my grandmama? No. Remove all of that bullshit and put it as a person one, person B, and analyze the situation for what it is. Okay, don't be having no sympathy, because that's what I feel like y'all are giving for y'all to not arrest this woman. But let's keep going. They're saying under the law, a person can use deadly force anywhere as long as he is not engaged in an unlawful activity, is being attacked in a place he has a right to be and reasonably believes that his life and safety are in danger as a result of an overt act or perceived threat committed by someone else. Okay. What else? The sheriff says that law has specific instructions for us in law enforcement. Anytime that we think or perceive or believe that might come into play, we cannot make an arrest. That law specifically says that. That makes no sense to me, y'all, because if this is what you're saying, the law has specific instructions for us in law enforcement. Anytime that we think or perceive or believe that might come into play, we cannot make an arrest. But then tell me why and how the fuck y'all arrested Travis Rudolph and had him sitting in the car for hours because y'all was doing shift changes, doing this, switch it, change it, and range it. That's what I'm not understanding. So either y'all are not abiding by the stand your ground law accordingly, or West Palm Beach, whoever the Palm Beach, was not doing their job. It's either or, but y'all need to get y'all together and be on one accord, because something, and correct me in the comments, but something's not adding up for me. That's crazy. Let's keep going. All right. They said what we have to rule out is whether that deadly force was justified or not before we can even make the arrest. I wish our shooter would have called us instead of taking actions into her own hands. Though the sheriff did not explicitly say why he referred to that law, the mention of it ignited backlash from Owens' family and their attorneys, who say there is no way to justify Owens' killings. I know that's right. And it's so funny because where did y'all get the stand your ground? So did the 58-year-old white racist have, Did she have an attorney to approach y'all and say, hey, it's a stand your ground situation? Or did y'all just automatically get your wheels turning and say, that's what this is? We have to rule that out first before like, what was the process of all of that breakdown for you guys to get to that conclusion to delay an arrest? That's just what I want to know. Okay. I'm asking because I'm not in law enforcement, all right? So they're saying the shooter could have called 911. She could have did 100 other things than to use deadly force, according to civil rights attorney Ben Crump, one of the attorneys representing the family. He says that it is unacceptable, okay? Owens was described by family as a single mother of 4 who was full of life, loved her children with all her being, and helped those around her in any way that she could. The family does have a GoFundMe devoted for the mother and the Christian. So I'll have to find that GoFundMe. Is this it? Okay, yes. All right, so I do have that GoFundMe. So at the bottom of this video, I'll definitely link it down below for you guys that would like to, contribute to this family during this time. But yeah, this is just a crazy story and I just hate that they're delaying stuff. When they do this, I just feel like it's like a person that goes missing, or it makes you think about the first 48. You want to try and grab as much evidence as you can, but they're saying it's been 4 days since she was shot. So how did y'all recover the scene? Like what happened? Like I just feel a way about it. But I mean, the most we can do at this time is continue talking about it and continue and keep our foot on their necks, until they actually do something, because that's what we had to do with the Yarrow. I think that's what that baby name was, Yarrow. The Yarrow situation. Okay. That young man that was hit by the white man when he went to the wrong door, just popped for no reason. Right. We applied pressure and made sure that they arrested him. So we will have to do the same thing in order for this family to receive any ounce of justice. And even with her being arrested, we still got to hope that it carries its way all the way to trial, and that there is an actual conviction, for the crime that she committed to these children. And here's the gag for me. I don't care nothing about what y'all talk about. Y'all can try and rule out stand your ground all you want to. Y'all better arrest this bitch for theft, for stealing property. Hello, did you investigate that? Did you confiscate that? Did you find an iPad or whatever at that lady's house? Because I'm sure that it was there. I feel like y'all probably didn't do y'all proper investigation the same way that Reg did. BITCH, the lead detective, Miss Emily Vanderlaan, did not do her motherfucking job as well. Okay, so y'all probably was over there doing poor ass investigating and probably not willing to find any additional evidence because you don't want to waste taxpayers' money or whatever, right? Yeah, y'all need to go over there and go ahead and charge her as for that. And then I'm going to need y'all to also charge her as for child endangerment, because she clapped that woman in front of some children. And that's just really what it's given. So y'all need to go and put them charges on her while y'all figure out what the rest of it is going to be. Don't be coming to us with this bullshit, talking about some stand your ground and all that other shit, okay? Don't care nothing about it. She committed a crime, committed an act in front of children. That's the first thing her ass need to get. Charges related to children. And then y'all figure the rest of this out. Let's see. What else do I have here? Because there is another news clip that I do want to play for you guys before I get out of here. So let's go ahead and check out what this one is.
These children who lost their mother in cold blood. We need answers. We need an arrest.
That is the attorney for a woman shot and killed in Florida by her neighbor. Well, they're demanding an arrest, as you heard. They say that A.J. Owens, a black mother of 4 young children, died Friday night after a dispute with her neighbor who shot her through a front door. According to a family lawyer, Owens' children were playing outside when the neighbor engaged them and threw a pair of skates at them. The lawyer says she also shouted racial slurs, and when Owens went to confront her, that woman shot and killed her. Carlos Suarez is in Miami following all of this. And there are so many questions this morning, but key for the legal team is why this woman hasn't been arrested. Do we know?
Well, Poppy, the sheriff's office is saying that they're looking into whether this shooting was in self-defense, but that's an argument that the victim's family says is just not possible. 35-year-old A.J. Owens, as you said, was killed on Friday north of Orlando in Ocala, Florida. Authorities said that Owens knocked on the door of a neighbor who minutes earlier had an issue with Owens' children that were playing outside. Now, the victim's family said that the woman had previously harassed the children, calling them racial slurs and the N-word. Owens' mother said her daughter wanted to know why the woman kept an iPad that the children left behind and why she threw a pair of skates at them. Here's more of what that mother said.
She knocked on Susan's door A closed, locked door. Door never opened.
Never.
My daughter, my grandchildren's mother, was shot and killed. She had no weapon. She posed no imminent threat to anyone.
All right, so the sheriff of Marion County said that the two women were yelling at each other through that front door and that authorities haven't made an arrest yet because of Florida's Stand Your Ground law, adding that authorities, they're still interviewing other neighbors and Owens' 9-year-old son who was standing next to his mom when she was shot through that door. Here's the sheriff.
And what we have to rule out is whether the deadly force was justified or not before we can even make the arrest.
Well, you need to charge her with something else then.
And
How about
sometimes
that?
it becomes difficult.
It ain't got to be that
Sometimes
damn
it becomes
difficult.
an obstacle, but only a temporary obstacle, because it will be moved, and the final answer will come forward.
Man, he giving fluff.
All right, so
He's
the
giving
sheriff
fluff.
said that the neighbors have had issues before with at least 6 calls made to 911 since 2021. The name of that 58-year-old neighbor who shot Owens has not been released.
I don't know why. It need to be released. Hell, AJ name out there. So why is her name not out there? I'm sorry, hell, we knew who that man was that shot the young boy. We knew who he was. So why can't we know who she is? And she actually murdered somebody. Why are y'all protecting her? That's what be killing me. Like the go-to that y'all do to like protect them. Like for what? Like I can't. She committed a fucking crime. She was so big and bold to do it. She was behind the door. She did it. Whatever. She was so bold. Well then be bold. And you was bold enough to bully them babies and act the way that you was acting. So be bold enough for your face to be plastered all over social media. But it's okay. Because when you give the internet sleuths enough time, they gonna put the name out there and stuff before y'all do. So y'all might want to get to it before they get to it. But I promise you, give it enough time as this story make its way around, we're going to find out what the name is and we're going to find out what the face is, and then people going to be over there at her door saying, come outside, we not going to hurt you. So I'm just letting you know how it's finna play and how it's finna go down. Y'all make y'all decision based on that. But either way, good luck. Rest in peace to this beautiful woman. I feel so bad for her children, 4 kids, young babies. Like, girl, that is a lot. That is a lot to lose your mom and then to lose her in the way that you lost her, like so tragically, by the most hateful person that's in the neighborhood. Not only is that person hateful to you, but then they're hateful to your mom to a point where they unalive your mom, and then it's at a point where they may even get away with it. What? Nah. I can't. And y'all definitely pick and choose who y'all want to apply that stand your ground law to. And it's really whack to me. It really is, because it really just boils down to people's skin being darker than the other and having more melanin than the, like, it's really like, really? Because a person's black, they don't get the stand your ground, but because she's white and brittle, she gets it's the stand your ground. We have to figure it out before we make a move or do anything. How long y'all need to do that to figure it out? It's been 4 days. How many days y'all need to figure it out? Because it seemed like y'all figured it out pretty quickly when it came down to Travis and his situation. So let the people know, honey. We confused. But that's all that I got. You guys go ahead and hop down in the comments. Let me know your thoughts about all of this stuff that's been going on regarding the AJ Owens case. All right? I'm Jamie. That's me. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share my videos. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Jamie. That's me. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.